The late Brian Dinneen is being honored for his years of dedication to the youth and high school sports community in West Haven. Brian was a staple in the West Haven community before his sudden passing in 2020. His voice was heard all year long in youth and high school sports as the public address announcer for baseball, hockey, and other sports. He was the longtime announcer for all boys high school hockey games for Amity, Notre Dame, and West Haven at the Edward L. Bennett Rink. His voice could also be heard during the spring and summer seasons, where he was the public address announcer at Purick Field for high school baseball and West Haven American Legion baseball. When the big games came around, Brian was the voice associated with these events. Out-of-towners came to love the flowing voice of Dinneen, while the home fans came to appreciate the smooth flow of his announcements from the start. Greatness does not come without hard work, and Brian was proof of this. While the atmosphere prior to any game was reaching its peak, Brian would calmly go over the pronunciations of names, never wanting to mispronounce any athlete's name. While his voice will always be remembered, so too will be the way he kept the crowds in all sports involved with his music choices between periods of a hockey game or between innings on the baseball diamond. The facilities at West Haven High were always top-notch in Brian's tenure, but it was his work over the public address system which was the final and most prolific touch. Affectionately known as Flying Brian, West Haven's voice of baseball and hockey always added a sense of levity to each big event. No game or tournament was too big for the longtime announcer, and his presence added to what were already electric atmospheres. His shining moments came over the radio airwaves when the radio broadcast tapped into the press box of either the hockey rink or baseball diamond to hear the clear and elegant voice of Dinneen. A Dinneen trademark always showed up at each event, whether it was the chocolates and candies he had in the hockey rink or the cherries he snacked on between innings of a baseball contest. Brian started each baseball game with his classic, "Welcome to Whitey Purick Field," another gem of the Fitzgerald Sports Complex at West Haven High. He then followed with his staple performance in the booth. In the hockey rink, it was another line to remember, starting off with, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to West Haven's Edward L. Bennett Rink for today's hockey game between." His sign-off was easy to remember and a staple of his work. Thanks for coming out, drive safely, and good night. Ladies and gentlemen, the family of the late Brian Dinneen.